Have you ever felt like the most familiar place suddenly turned strange and terrifying? Have you ever felt like you were being watched, even when you were certain you were alone? In today's video, you'll hear 3 true experiences that seemed harmless at first, but slowly spiraled into never-ending nightmares. From a backyard camping night that turns into a desperate escape, to a man in the woods carrying the stench of death, and finally, a seemingly harmless coworker who reveals his terrifying true nature behind a half-closed door. Make sure you're in a well-lit room, and lock the door before you continue, because once you start listening, you won't be able to stop. Story 1. The last game in the backyard. Have you ever felt like your safe place suddenly became foreign? When I was a kid, my family lived in Georgia, in a house with a 2-acre backyard bordered on 3 sides by thick forest. It was my childhood paradise: an above-ground pool, a hot tub, a trampoline, a detached garage, and enough space for any game. To me, it was an impenetrable world. But that night changed everything. It was a Friday. I was camping out with 3 of my best friends, Mike, Michael, and Jason. After playing ball and eating pizza, we pitched 2 tents and split up to sleep. I had been a Boy Scout, so setting up was easy. As the sun set, motion-activated lights flickered on, casting eerie glows across the yard like a scene from a B-grade horror movie. That's when our favorite game began: Manhunt, a nighttime version of hide-and-seek. 2 teams, 1 mission track or escape in the dark. Mike and I were hiding. I slid beneath the trampoline near the forest's edge and held my breath, waiting for the whistle. While I lay hidden, I noticed something strange. The neighbor's dog began howling madly, staring into the woods. I told myself it was a raccoon, or maybe a fox, but something deep inside whispered, "This isn't right." When the whistle blew, the game began. I waited, then dashed toward the hot tub near the back door. If I could hide there, I could sprint to base and win. But as I crouched, I heard a sharp metallic scrape behind me, like something clawing at a trash can. The motion light on the side of the house blinked on. I turned around. A tall man in black was walking briskly toward the forest. Quick steps, no glance back. Not my dad. I ran inside, called the game off, and told my father. He grabbed a flashlight and a baseball bat, searched the yard, and even ventured to the edge of the woods. Nothing. No tracks. But I knew what I saw. He told us to sleep inside. But sometime after midnight, our 12-year-old sense of adventure kicked in. We snuck back to the tents with small flashlights and curled into our sleeping bags like nothing had happened. Mike fell asleep quickly. I couldn't. Around 2 a.m., footsteps. On the grass. Soft, slow, getting closer. I held my breath. Zip. The tent's zipper slid open. I opened my eyes. A man was leaning in. My flashlight caught his face. Gray, expressionless eyes glazed white. He stared without blinking. For a second, I thought it was my dad. Until I whispered "Dad," and he said nothing. He just leaned down, touched my ankle, and whispered, "Shh." I screamed. Mike woke and screamed too. The man pulled back and ran into the darkness. My dad burst out the back door shouting, "If you're still there, come out, I've got a bat." The police came. I told them everything. They filed a report. No one was found. But 3 nights later, exactly at 3 a.m., the motion lights turned on again. No wind, no animals, just an empty, chilling yard. And the very real feeling that someone was standing there just steps from the window. Story 2. The smell of death in the dark. Do you believe in gut feelings? That icy chill, raised skin, and a heartbeat gone wild when your instincts scream, "This isn't right"? I do. because it saved my life. This happened in 2019. I was staying at my friend M's house. She lived deep in the woods, the nearest neighbor nearly a kilometer away. Behind her house was a sheer cliff overlooking the sea. It looked like paradise, until night fell. That evening, Sam, another friend, and I were hanging out. Around midnight, we decided to walk down a gravel path through the woods. M's mom said it was fine. The moon filtered through the branches like withered fingers. Everything was eerily silent. We laughed and walked, until we saw him. A man walking toward us. He wore a heavy winter coat even though it was a mild fall night. He didn't speak, just passed us silently. But then, a smell hit us like a slap. Not body odor, not sweat, but the reek of decay, of death, mold, rotten sewage. Sam nearly vomited. We looked at each other. No words. We knew this was wrong. We turned back toward the house. He turned too. He was following us. We picked up speed. He matched it. Sam screamed. She had looked back and seen him running full speed, something glinting in his hand under the moonlight. A knife. A blade. We bolted home, slammed the door, collapsed inside, shaking, speechless. The night dragged on. Around 2 a.m. as we watched TV in the living room, I heard footsteps outside the glass door facing the woods and cliff. Em said it was probably the deer she fed, but I knew better. I peeked through the curtain with a flashlight. Nothing. Then at the edge of the woods, a man. Naked. Still. Arms at his sides. Staring at me. No movement. No blinking. Just watching. I woke Sam. But when we looked again, he was gone. At 4:30 a.m., I woke choking. The smell had returned. Stronger. Suffocating. Then, footsteps. I turned on my flashlight, hands trembling. And there he was, standing in the corner of the living room, just meters away, still, silent, watching. I screamed. Sam and Em woke up screaming too. He fled. Police arrived. We explained everything. They searched the woods and found an abandoned tent. Inside were 5 decomposing bodies. We never learned who he was, but that smell on him, it was the scent of death. Story 3. Sebastian is not normal. Some people seem great at first, funny, friendly, harmless, and then you realize they're not. I worked at a major bank in Manhattan. Sebastian was a new hire, charming social, a great storyteller. We became fast friends. One day he invited me and my younger brother Tyler to his family's condo in Florida. It was spacious, elegant, perfect for a getaway. But the first night proved something was off. Sebastian drank like a man possessed. He picked fights, yelled at strangers. When 2 women invited us to chat, he stormed off and flooded our phones with curses and threats, saying he'd throw our stuff out. When we returned, he acted normal. But that night, I saw him standing in the living room whispering to himself. He said my name, cursed me, then laughed like a lunatic. Around 3 a.m. I woke up. He was standing at my bedroom door. I asked, "What are you doing?" He lunged, grabbed my throat, screaming, "I invited you here, and you betrayed me. You talked behind my back." Tyler shoved him off. We packed up, ordered an Uber, and left in the middle of the night. As the door closed, I glanced back. He was sitting in the corner, knees to chest, smiling. Eyes empty. Like the world outside him didn't exist. A week later, Sebastian transferred to another office. I never heard from him again. But sometimes late at night, I wake up with the feeling that someone's standing outside my door whispering, "I haven't finished telling my story yet." Joe. 3 stories. 3 types of fear. But they share one thing in common. It's not blood, not monsters. It's real people. A stranger at your window, a man from the woods, or your own coworker. The scariest part is never knowing who's watching you, or why. If you've ever had a night you'll never forget, share it in the comments below. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss another terrifying story. Because the next story might be yours.